is the first of numerous cheap ironies you'll encounter in this story, but was staying closer to her to be near my toddler son. My ex-wife and I had taken to spending Sunday afternoons in Echo Park together, enjoying our kid, thanks to the understanding nature of her movie director fiancé. Some of my friends suspected I was hoping to reconcile with that faithless bitch, and maybe I was. In addition, I was laying low because Chicago had been crawling of late with investigators looking to enlist witnesses to sing in Senator Estes Kefauver's choir. The Tennessee senator had, starting back in May, launched a major congressional inquiry into organized crime, with Chicago a prime target, and I was not anxious to participate. While not a mob guy myself, I had done jobs for various outfit types and had certain underworld associations, and hence did know where a good share of the bodies were buried. Hell, I'd buried some of them. So my associates in Chicago were instructed not to forward my calls and, just to occupy myself, I was taking on occasional jobs for the agency, routine matters I handled only when my interest was piqued. And the bosomy and long-stemmed college girl named Vera Palmer had certainly piqued it. She was only 19 years old, whereas I was not a teenager. I could barely remember having been a teenager. I was a well-preserved 45 years old, ruggedly handsome, I've been told, with reddish-brown hair going gray at the temples, 6 feet carrying 200 pounds, chiefly scar tissue and gristle, with precious few bad habits, although my major weakness was sitting across from me, with its legs crossed and its breasts staring right at me.
"We broke up at the start of the summer,"
she said breathlessly, leaning forward. She smelled good, not perfume, but soap. I made it as Camé.
"Paul went off to ROTC. He's in the reserves, and he kept writing me letters. I never answered them."
This was in Dallas? Her hands were folded in her lap. Lucky hands.
"Yes, we were both at the university there, freshmen. We dated in high school. Paul wanted to get married, but I wasn't ready. Anyway, a month or so after he went off for training, I headed out here."
The muffled voices of ops making phone calls, credit checks mostly, and others working typewriters, detailed reports made billing clients easier, provided an office music backdrop for our conversation. I asked, "You didn't tell your ex-boyfriend where you were going?"
"No, I didn't tell him I was going anywhere. Heck, I wasn't even answering his silly letters, and I gave my mother strict orders not to tell Paul where I'd gone."
"But she must have spilled the beans, Miss Palmer, or maybe a friend of yours told Paul where—" She shook her head and the brown hair bounced.
"No, he found out when he was home on leave and saw my picture in the paper."
Why was your picture in the paper?" Her smile was a lush explosion. Her whole face went sunny.
"Why, don't you think I'm pretty enough to have my picture in the paper?"
Her shoulders were back, her chin up. The submarine hull threatened worse than ever. "I think you're a lovely young woman, but papers need a reason, or anyway an excuse to run a picture, even of a pretty girl like you. So, why's a Los Angeles picture of Vera Palmer running in a Dallas paper?"
"I'm in a beauty contest. I'm one of the 20 finalists."
Seemed Miss Palmer had registered at the Daily News to enter the Miss California contest. Naive, she hadn't brought along an 8x10, and a news photographer, overhearing this, had volunteered to shoot her picture. He even fronted $5 for her to go buy a bikini.
"He was so nice,"
she purred.
"So generous."
Yeah, sounds like a real philanthropist. The news had run a story about the guileless girl who had wandered in to enter the Miss California contest, and how the news had helped her out by buying her a swimsuit and taking a photo, which the paper ran, and the wire service picked up. She shrugged.
"I don't know what's so special about a picture of me in a bikini."
Despite her wide eyes, I was starting to understand that she knew very well what was special about her, in or out of a bikini. Paul, I said, getting her back on track.
"Paul,"
she said with a nod.
"Last week Paul caught up with me. He follows me around campus, shows up at the rehearsals for my play, calls my room."
"Are you in a dorm?"
"Yes, at the Mac."
"The Mac?"
"That's short."